Greetings everyone, I am Napoleon Complex, I go by Ludendorf in the Southern Forums. Welcome back to the 20th anniversary tournament of Field of Glory. My opponent today, Grommulax, is taking a Dacian army against my Germans. Now, there is a very specific strategic setup to this battle. The Dacians have armoured noble lancers and a strong force of noble cavalry backing them up, for a total of potentially 7 units of cavalry. Now these armoured lancers are an almost perfect counter to my own warbands. The lancers are capable of paralysing warbands from the front. They can then select, using their generals and their best troops, a point to charge where they can repeat their charges and eventually break through. Unless the lancers can be surrounded somehow, the warbands simply cannot win the engagement. And so they remain the major threat from this Dacian army. The situation gets worse when we look at the infantry. The Dacians have a large amount of rough ground in this battlefield, and they can potentially hold me up here, and I will be forced into risky charges to try and open up flanks and attack these corners. Say he puts 2 units of picked warband and an ordinary unit of warband here. I will have to engage in numerous risky charges, or even worse, all 3. In order to take this area of rough ground, I will have to engage in risky charges to turn the flanks of these infantry to face out, and then flanking with the last unit, and we could end up losing, fragmenting and falling back at any point in that line, at which point our own lines will become vulnerable. Alternatively, he could just go long line. He can bring up to 21 units in this battlefield, march out and try and surround my army that way, and his lancers will be an excellent resource to allow him to do that. On top of that, if the picked warbands march out, they will be able to defeat everything in my army except for the superior warbands, and I need those superior warbands if I'm going to have hope of fighting the lancers today. So the situation is simple. I can either try and equip my army to fight his lancers and be defensive with my infantry, because I will have to accept that even if I have the resources to fight the cavalry, then I will not have the resources to fight his infantry. And if I set up my army in a way to assault the infantry on the rough ground, which will force me into an offensive stance, as I will have to advance before the cavalry can surround me, then I will not have the resources to win against this cavalry, and I will instead have to maintain a defensive footing there. So my choices are simple. Set up with powerful superior warbands to confront his infantry, and attempt to overwhelm his positions on the rough ground and break through in time before he can break through in the flanks and surround my army. Or take a defensive stance with the infantry in the centre, using this long line of warbands, and trying to delay the infantry battle, while we instead confront the lancers out in the open with the superior warbands, cavalry, and my skirmishers. Now, even with the support of the superior warbands, I do not think that I can assault this rough ground safely. I don't believe that I have the resources to do that, and the reason why I can't do that is that, for starters, if I try and make an assault against picked units on this rough ground, and he can easily decide to anchor up there, if anything goes wrong at all, if any of my units fragment during that assault, if he brings up units to support the line, if he can, that will then, I will pretty much lose my one chance to break through if he's intelligent about how he deploys his troops, and then I will be at the mercy of the lancers. So I don't think it's practical to try and break through this area of rough ground with just the support of these loose order warbands when he has picked warbands capable of repelling them. And so instead I've gone for what on the surface seems like the riskiest strategy of all. I am going to take a defensive stance with this line of infantry and attempt to hold back his own infantry. If he goes heavy on skirmishers, I can outnumber his infantry as they advance, and this may give me an advantage against his superior quality warbands and the Volksmen that support them. However, the real action will be from the noble cavalry, and the superior warbands and these warbands in support. The job of these warbands is to get in front of the enemy armoured lancers and to block their progress and to basically act as a stone wall. And the job of my noble cavalry, light javelin horse, light javelin men, and these light archers will be to move around the edges of the lancers and then of the enemy noble cavalry, and then charge in to paralyze them or use missiles to disrupt them, and then win the battle with the noble cavalry. The noble cavalry will then charge into the lancers from the side, and then once they are pinned in by the noble lancers, the superior warbands can charge and start to mop up the problem. I have adopted the step formation so that the warbands have protection, and I placed it in the centre because the lancers could concentrate in any combination on either side, and I need to be ready to move to reflect that. However, in hindsight, I think I will have to deploy for these units further back behind my line, because they will need to be able to move as one block potentially if the lancers appear on either side of my army, and so I will deploy them a bit further back. So my intention, if the Dacian army starts to come forward, my intention is to start falling back with this line to more defensible positions back here, and my forces will, depending on where the lancers end up being, my forces will start to move towards either the left or the right of the battlefield, or they will split up and move to both if that is where the Dacian lancers are, because the Dacian lancers are too mobile for me to try and deploy divide and conquer tactics in order to win the battle. So I will have to just meet the lancers where they decide to emerge. If the enemy does bring skirmishers, then I have the skirmishers to counter them. I have enough skirmishers to resist them, and I can hopefully protect my light javelin horse long enough for them to do their job and give me the advantage against the noble cavalry. And he will have to bring a smaller infantry force in that case, which may expose his flanks as they come forward. If he does not bring infantry, then we will have the advantage of using these archers against his lancers, but he will envelop my army by a considerable degree, and so we will have to take a very defensive approach with our infantry, and we really will be counting on winning the battle against these lancers. This is a difficult battle to win for the Germans, and I expect I will have a hard job today, but we will see what happens. And I will now deploy and select my generals. So I think that we will have 2 command groups for these units, and my commander-in-chief will be placed in charge of the infantry with a small command group over here. So this gives me a degree of flexibility in the line. I can, if need be, combine these command groups. In fact, I think I'll do that now. See, there is a way to do this, set it up so they're all part of one command group. There we go. And now this is one unified command group under a general and a sub-general. And I can break this line up to move wherever it needs to go. Well, over here, this is set up so that I can split this army to go one way or the other. So I can either split off and go this way, or I can split off and go that way. There may be some difficulty as they're not even, and of course if I only see 2 lances emerge here and then 4 lances emerge here, then there may be a problem. But I think that the bulk of the lancers will emerge from this side due to the open nature of the terrain. So once again, the plan is defend again in the infantry battle against the mass of the Dacian foot, and use a combination of skirmishers and my infantry here and infantry and cavalry here to win the battle against the lancers when they emerge. I hope that I have the mobility to pull this off, because I do expect it will be difficult to accomplish, but I'll do my best. Let's see what Grommulax has waiting for us. Let me just check the recording. Interesting setup. So as expected, he's deployed these picked order. Oh, he's hoping, I think, to anchor his line here with the loose order warbands, and then break through the picked order with the picked warbands. He has a large army of reserves here. I think he's planning to defend, and he's brought his skirmishers. So these were my targets. He's probably got more troops hidden in the woods. Let's check the casualty screen for a second. So I outnumber him. That's curious that I outnumber him. I wasn't expecting to do that. So let's start to count up his troops. So 700, 1400, 2100, 2800, 4200, 4900 troops. Double check that I got that right. 2800, 4900, 56, 56, 61, 65, 61, 66, 73, and then the cavalry, 83, let's call that 8,500 troops that are visible in his heavy troops. That's 95. So he has about 10,000 visible, which means he could have either one infantry unit or two cavalry units hidden. So and that would fit the bill. I think he's got two cavalry units hidden, as that would account for all of his cavalry. It is a smaller army than I expected. He brought the artillery with him, and that will shrink the size of his army. Now, Grommulax apparently completely trounced his opponent last battle, and so he's definitely an opponent to be reckoned with. He has a strategy here. I'm just trying to think about my opening moves. I'll be back once I've decided what I'm going to do here. Okay, what I suspect is happening here is he has two more units of lancers hidden. His army has 18 units of heavy units. My army also has 18 units of heavy units. I am outnumbered in skirmishers, but it's not a severe disadvantage. What I think I'm going to try is a weighted flank attack against this side of the forest. And I'm going to use, well, this rough ground won't get in the way of his loose order warbands, but it will somewhat obstruct any cavalry that are lurking around on this side, and I suspect that they're probably over here, but regardless. So what I want to do is, I am anticipating to face a maximum of 7 cavalry units over here. So what I need for that is I need 5 units of heavy infantry, 6 units of heavy infantry, and my noble cavalry on this side. In fact, actually make it 5, and we'll bring over all our units of heavy cavalry to come and help on this flank. Plus, because that still only counts up to, let's see, that still only gives us 7 units. I want the 2 units of loose order warband here as well, in order to mount an effective flank attack. And so we're concentrating our forces here. And the rest of the army will begin to shuffle towards the right flank. I probably want my initial skirmisher battle to focus on the enemy cavalry, because that will force the enemy skirmishers out into a fight in the open. Let's see, not too far forward. Let's just move to here for the moment. And let's move the archers out. And I'll move my skirmishers over to here. And we're going to do a quick flank transfer here. These units are, of course, moving off to confront the enemy cavalry. And these close order warbands will reinforce that. Though now I think about it, I might choose to use my superior warbands against his front line. But we're going to be adopting a very defensive approach on the left flank. It's the right flank I'm looking to break. And we're actually going to move around the rough ground, so hopefully that will take away some of his loose order foot's advantage. Though he seems to have he's brought all of his close order foot. The Dacians can bring up to 2 units of close order foot, and I've brought quite a lot of loose order foot. So the armies have ended up being quite similar in the end. The only difference is in his skirmishers and his lancers, and I have a few more elite heavy infantry than he does, I think. And of course he has the artillery, which we need to look out for. Next turn. Oh, wait a second. You guys may as well move forward. Alright. Rumble, rumble, rumble. Right, hidden skirmishers. Good, that means it's not hidden cavalry. So he's coming forward aggressively. Not a bad idea given the circumstances. Let's see. Right, I want these loose skirmishers to move across the... Well, then again, if he's coming out to fight... Probably want my close order foot to meet his infantry. Right, let's see here. We are talking about 1, 2, 3, 4. His backline hasn't started to spread out, but he'll probably take these across. That'll be 5. I know that's not everything he's got. It can't be everything he's got. He's keeping something back, probably something on this flank then. Alright, let's do this. So my warbands can take it, so I'm going to set my skirmishers up right on his flank. Threaten his move forward. We've got these hedgerows to protect us as well, and that will help immensely. Let's see, let's think about their angling. So he could come straight forward. He's not likely to do that. It'll be... Oh, maybe. Because moving here would be stupid. The best thing to do would just be to keep them back at the moment and bring the skirmishers out to support. And I probably shouldn't be doing this because it will deter his flank from coming forward, and it's this flank that I want to target. Let's see. We'll move the heavy troops first. These are close order troops. Well, that's fine because they can move to there. I've got these guys coming around here. They'll be a good match against those enemy infantry. And, okay, move here. You guys move to here. You're going to form the front line against the Lancers. Wait, hold on. I don't like, because, let's see, 1, 4 so far. I'm sure there's more. I'll be absolutely amazed if this is all that's there. Yep, keep moving this way. Because I'm aiming my superior troops at his forces here. He's going to be aggressive against us. Not knowing what's out there right now is annoying and slightly scary. But I'm not going to moan about it, I'm just going to deal with it. Let's see. Because those loose order troops are ideal for drop them back. It depends what he decides to do with his cavalry here. So I'm trying to concentrate what few skirmishers I have on this side of the field here. But it's taking me time to move. Just ride, let's see, ride the general in this direction as fast as you can. And turn to face this way, that way you can move it in this direction as well. Next turn. On we go. I hope my opening here is a little bit more confident than my opening in the other match. Okay. That javelin cavalry is the most dangerous unit to my troops in the field right now. It's the most urgent threat. Although I don't like the nomad light horse archers hanging around back there either. They're dangerous to my light javelin horse. I think the bright thing to do might be just to pull back and have the support of my infantry. Hate losing initiative like that, but I don't have much of a choice. Alright, pull back. And, let's see. Thing is, he's got the mobility to choose what matchups he takes here. Right, I remember now, because these loose order warbands were going to go and confront his noble cavalry, weren't they? And we're moving our generals across to deal with this. I guess that means no generals in the centre then. Well, that's something I can work with. Really don't want to fight his lancers with loose order warbands. God, they're moving fast. Uh-oh. I think he'll be within charge range next turn. Darn it. It moves so fast, and if you're not ready and in position in time, it's because I was concerned about the skirmish situation. The light javelin horse are units of last resort. I can potentially charge them into a unit of lancers to buy our other units time. It's risky, but it could work, given the right circumstances. Right, so my plan with these units was to have them confront the enemy infantry line. And if he doesn't want to take that matchup, then that will at least constrain his options here. We want those close order warbands over here, these units over here. Let's see, do I want to bring even more troops over here? Checking his line. Remember, he's got units, so he can always extend this out. That's the picked warband, doesn't it? Well, we definitely don't want this unit getting anywhere close to here. This unit's probably going to have to... Okay, we can shuffle someone over to here. That's probably better if... My line is very slowly turning around with a loose order facing this way. That's another picked warband on the flank. Alright, next turn. Alright. So my line must look like it's in an utter mess right now. And to be fair, right now it is. But hopefully I can start to pull things around soon. Well, interesting that he's inching forward like that. Thing is, he has the advantage in skirmishers and he knows it. There's something that I could do that could help. He hasn't charged forward with his lancers, which I'm relieved about. Okay, let's see. And he's moved in like this. That could be a mistake, because that kind of gets me back in the game a little bit on this side. Let's consider how we're going to do this very carefully. Well, I'm certainly not charging there. But if we can hit this light javelin horse unit hard enough... Right, I made the mistake last time focusing too much on the skirmish. What are the fundamentals of this army? Or of this situation? Well, that picked warband will be at a disadvantage against our superior warbands out in the open. So we definitely want to engage that picked warband with our superior units. Same goes for the superior warbands facing these units, because we don't want our loose warbands anywhere near those close warbands in the open field. That is one of the worst worst matchups we can take. But this fight, this superior picked warband versus superior warband out in the open, that is very good for us. I'd still like to avoid this rough ground if I can avoid it. Which does mean that these units will have to slide out and around. Turn them this way because they're all going to move out this way. I think that pretty much forces me to move my units in this direction. Turn them back around. Now what on earth do I do with these units? Well... there is more open ground out here, so I suppose I can keep one close order warband out here. So it's looking increasingly like the strong point of my line is actually in the center. Well, center right, this right flank is where I could stave in his line. Though he's got reserves back here to back that up. I expect he's going to start lengthening his line soon to start responding to the threat my infantry pose. Now I need to consider the skirmisher question. Now the thing is, those light javelinmen might decide to run away when they're this close to my line and they're charged from this far away. But I don't want to get into melee with his light javelin horse, that's for sure. Okay. Let's approach like this. I know that means I'm going to take a... Oh, well, that doesn't... Getting a disruption for a disruption doesn't really help my cause, does it? And if I move this unit up to block the light javelin, then I can't attack with the light archers at all. And I don't like moving closer to these armoured lancers. They could get a disruptive charge if I move one square closer. So no, the heavy infantry battle has to take priority over the light infantry battle. Let's see. But he still can't engage my troops safely this close to my line, and the most that will give him is a volley from my light javelin. Or he could try to charge my units, run away, and then they get hit in the back. But hopefully, instead of doing that, they'll just run through my lines. Hopefully they're not idiots. Troops in Field of Glory not being idiots. That sounds like a forlorn hope right there. But they do sometimes come through, to their credit. And we get the disruption, that's good. And if he's going to position his Nomad Light Horse in the center of the battlefield like that, I'm going to swing around the flanks, because these Light Javelin Horse can be very useful against the armoured Lancers. Start to form up a battle line here. Oh. Now they've got a distance to walk. I just realised that this unit here is going to waste. I do out-extend his line by a lot here, but the problem is I can't necessarily make much use of that. If only... okay. Now I have another choice to make here. Do I want to... Because they've got a commander over here, I'll move this commander over to here. But here's what's running through my... Move that here, I want them here available. I'm making mistakes with my generals a lot where I end up moving them too far away from one another. I just realised how broken up this and fragmented this command group has become. Do I want to move my warband here, risking the charge hitting? But that could give my warbands a chance to move around. That might give me a chance. No, I don't think it's worth it because you could just move around anyway. We'll stay where we are and just try and extend the line if we can. Because I'll extend them by a good margin anyway. And it's really a case of the cavalry getting on with that and getting into position at this particular point in time. Alright, we have time, and I almost forgot about this unit, and these archers are going to really hurt. But despite all of that, God, this is going to hurt. I just realised that just how badly these archers are going to hit. Maybe the light javelin will be a distraction, but against an opponent with this much experience, I doubt it. It does at least present a threat to his light archers because I might charge out and catch one of them. Although that would have struck my battle line as it forms up. Next turn. Advantages and disadvantages. Here comes the arrow hail. At least we haven't lost anyone yet. He's definitely holding his lancers back. Which means we need to get a move on if we want significant progress on this flank. Didn't think that would quite get to a cohesion test. Right, let's have a look at the entire line. So he's quite broken up here, actually. This isn't, but then again, because the skirmisher unit has been placed right there, I'm actually going to have a bit of trouble reforming my line here, and if we charge out, we risk problems. However, if you look at the situation here, I do seem to be out-extending his line in places, which means it's going to make his advance more difficult. I'm going to keep them a pace behind because I reckon that my light javelinmen can charge, force a retreat, and then we can move up in support. And get our positioning back. So for the moment, move up into position. And as is customary for me, I want to swing out. Is there any way we can do that better? Not really, because that would be a bad idea. Swing out. I think we're going to be running late, so that's the only problem. Ah, no, but here. So if he moves to here, I can threaten to flank this square. And the rest of my units can start to lumber forward. But stay away from the zone of control square here. And if he tries to move diagonally, he's just setting up a flank attack so he can control his movements. These units are going to start getting shot in the face, but there's not much I can do about that. Okay. Again, I'm scared of those armored noble lancers. Of course, if we can turn sideways and threaten this line, then we're starting to get into position, and I can start to lock down his cavalry and pull the advance in different directions, which I can't quite get in to support the skirmish battle just now. Oh, that's risky because of course if I charge we'll go running off here, so probably not a good idea to do that. Instead, I think what we'll do is we will just move up to... That's actually pretty hazardous. I wish I hadn't done that because those archers can now charge into my light archers. So that will hurt a lot. So having put myself in that position, I'm going to walk away now. That will look very strange to Grommulax, but it honestly is just a misclick. I think I'll keep moving around. So I'm moving fresh units in. Extend the line, extend the line. Do I want them to have the general of this unit? This is another potential breakthrough point. Give them the general. And anyone facing the Lancers should have the Commander-in-Chief. Okay. Now at least we're resembling something that looks like a formed line. And since I can't charge safely, all I can do is throw a javelin. So there's a massive hole in the line here, and we are getting borne down on by Lancers, but there is luckily hope because the cavalry is getting around the flank, and we are actually managing to overextend him on the left, which I did not expect. So hopefully we can survive the charge from these picked warbands. If not, we're dead. Next turn. Oh dear. Ah! Well, that's not very good, is it? And we just took a cohesion penalty, which means he's going to get a disruption here. Amazingly, he didn't get a disruption there. I have no idea why that unit is still standing. Well, he'll get me next turn. Unless I can do something very clever to shield that unit from fire. Which I can. Just move backwards. Turns out it's really, really easy. Okay. So unfortunately we're going to lose this unit of Nomad Light Horse Archers. Block them in, make sure that they can't retreat, or let's see, hold on a second. Oh, then that does quite nicely. So that gets rid of them. Sorry about the coughing fit, folks, I've been eating quite spicy food. This is going to hurt. But luckily we held firm. That's why I moved the general in. Well, that and it actually improves our combat chances. Okay. Would have been nice if we could have got the break there, but it's not going to happen apparently. Nope, that's not going to end well. Problem is that we are quite exposed to his cavalry, which means I do actually have to do something about this. Okay. I did not think they would stand their ground. I thought they'd fall. Oh, they can't because my hoist by my own petard. I should have resolved this first. Oh, they'll break, and oh, I should have moved them. Come on, enough with the small mistakes. They're small right now, but they're going to start adding up. That seems a bit pointless. We're winning here now, and I don't particularly want to create further emergencies for my Warbank. There was a 20% loss chance. Had I hit that disrupted armoured noble lancers unit, there would still have been a chance that we fragmented, and that would have caused, well, disaster. Let's see what the best approach is here. Because if I charge in recklessly, we could end up getting hurt by the lancers. What I want to do is make sure that any attempt by him to engage his noble cavalry unit endangers him in turn. And I have to watch out. I'm operating near the edge of the map. I could get driven off it, which is why I could really do with driving forward here. He's only got a loose order warband back here. Let's look at the resources. So we've got this unit of cavalry coming round. I don't think I can really do much to block him here. And actually this light javelin horse unit is quite awkwardly placed, because if he charges he's going to go straight into noble cavalry. That will be nasty. And that will actually be pretty nasty for our troops. Move these guys around and turn them to face, because that way if they impact but these units hold firm, then we can get the flank attack on his armoured noble lancers next turn. But I'd like to solidify that advantage if it's all possible. This is dangerous. Okay. Ah, I should have charged them in there. Okay, never mind. I think I'm still doing enough to make this position dangerous here. No, not really. Ah, okay, I didn't think that through enough. And now I need to be careful. If he... well, that's not going to work very well, but we do have a situation developing here. I am starting to encircle these armoured noble lancers. I think I should move here. So we're starting to close around these units, but I think it's a bit premature. You can also lock in his cavalry. Hopefully I'll be through his other units by then. But it's getting dangerous, because what he could do is lock in these noble cavalry. Oh no, he can't, because my warband stopped him from doing that. And it does mean that my troops are starting to move around and they're starting to look a little bit threatening to these units here. So if I can continue to close this down, it may paralyze the right hand side of his army, so facing my left. And beyond that, we're just continuing to swing out and around. And we are going to run away. You guys can, I don't know, find some lancers to shoot or something. Yeah, there's not a lot they can do at the moment. Just hang around here, I guess. If something breaks, they can probably move forward and start shooting. Move them towards here, because there's a unit of noble cavalry we could go and harass. Do we want to do anything here? The thing is, you can bring all of this sideways and lock all of this down, which leaves me only this avenue. And once these units are locked down, he can then he can move his lancers off to do something else. I mean, it's not very secure. These warband loose orders are quite vulnerable to my close order warbands, and my loose order warbands can just push the cavalry out of the way. But it does give me some problems. These are probably going to end up facing this flank. And if you try, he can try to block this warband, this unit here, by moving the warband here. I wonder if I should inch forward just a bit to threaten that square, because he then has the unenviable choice of moving his troops in towards range of my superior warbands if he wants to try and block off this path. I do have to be careful about moving too far forward. Okay. We'll inch forward into that situation. Bit of a worrying hole developing in our line there. Don't want to give him any opportunities to exploit this. But he can't engage until next turn, so he'll have time to clean it up a little bit next turn. To give a bit of psychological context, the random number gods seem to be testing me in the other game. They're offering... things have gone wrong, but they've gone right as well, just enough that I'm still in the game. And it's very interesting, so I'm quite excited at the moment for reasons unrelated to this game. Good charge. That's what we thought would happen. Ah, that's a setback. It depends what happens to these warbands here. I might not need the Lancer set. Yeah, they're going to break anyway. Yeah, there's a ridiculously tense situation in the other game. Well, that's inviting a charge. Let's see what to do. The first thing I'll do is hit this unit here as hard as I possibly can. Oh, well, I was hoping for a sudden break there, because you can kind of hold things together here due to the fact that these are both superior units, and he has a general on this one. He's boxing me in here, so I can't fall back. He obviously doesn't want me to escape from this position. He's picked up on what I did there. Quick on the draw, which means we're going to take a point-blank volley on the volley, unless I can think of something very clever or very stupid. Sometimes there's a thin line. He's extended the line here. 2, 3. He has enough to cover everything, but that spreads him thin. He has no more reserves after that. But these skirmishers are allowing him to punch a hole in my defences. Since I know that that is the equation, and I can at least go forward with the assumption that that is the story at hand. Let's see. I'm sure I can do something with the situation. The problem is I can't move that unit to here because they won't be able to turn. But I can move them to here. Yeah, so I think I can do something with this. So that unit moves here and we're threatening the armoured noble lancers. We move here so we can't intervene. And then we move up here. And we even have this unit as backup once they break the friends of these armoured noble lancers. And thankfully my warband is sensible enough to not try and pursue cavalry. Because they may be undisciplined, but the warbands do have a modicum of common sense. They know that they are not going to be able to catch those lancers. And I'm even threatening this unit here as well now, which is good. Move my cavalry back into position so that we can pin down these archers and they can't just turn around and attack my noble cavalry. So using all the parts of our army to support the other parts. Also this kind of makes it dangerous for these light javelin to turn. They'll take a bit of a mauling, but I'm quite happy with that. I'm going to do anything with this situation here. This actually looks promising. Kind of. I don't think I can actually do anything with it. It would be nice to move here. Oh, well, superior troops. Not really great, to be honest. No, there doesn't seem to be a lot I can do here other than to try to alleviate the flanking threat. So seeing as but now I just realised by doing that, I've kind of got his cavalry to deal with. And these cavalry here are a problem. I don't think he can charge here because at my light archers, because I've got my heavy troops in the way. Let's get some harassment in on these noble cavalry. But this is a dangerous situation that's developing here. So what will probably happen is I'll have to turn to block this avenue of attack. Of course, if he... No, I can't. Thankfully, can't move any lights to block this path. Can he? I don't know. That's actually quite dangerous. Well, there's nothing I can do about it now. I'm worried he might block in his cavalry here and then move the warband into flank. Oh, but he'd be exposing the flank here because I'm now threatening this square. In fact, this is quite bad for him. Because he can only block that with his cavalry currently, because I'll be able to, unless he can zone of control me with his cavalry. He's still okay. For a certain given value of okay, he can close this down, I think. Maybe there's a way I can really mess this up for him. Because I've got everything I need here. This unit must be usable for something more efficient than just hanging around here on the off chance they're necessary. Yeah, we're not going to take that unless we have to. I wish I could turn in here because I think he can charge in here and disrupt this unit. Yeah, that could actually be a problem. Oh, he can't while this unit's here. We'll see what happens. I actually think he can. Okay, yeah, I'll place a general here. And this does kind of obstruct his line of advance. It's a little bit dangerous having my troops away from the line like this. But I think I pretty much have to accept now that my flank attack has been scuppered. And it's going to be decided over here on the on his left, hopefully. Next turn. This is dangerous. And he gets a breakthrough, finally. After all his efforts, he deserved that. There has been some weird luck in this tournament. Interesting approach. I can block that. Makes sense because that prevents me from getting the flank with my cavalry. You guys need to run away again, but at least it's making these guys indecisive. Okay, there is one thing I can do to cover the situation. Where the heck is their general? Oh, now do I take the aggressive route and try to just break these? Or do I take the defensive route and protect my men here? How bad is it? Thing is, I'm winning over on this flank, so I really want to slow things down rather than accelerate over here. Ah, this is why he didn't attack here, because he's protecting this unit. Okay, that is actually worth making the attack. And of course, that lets me break through here. But of course, this unit's going to go chasing after shiny objects, and that leaves us in the fight here. Ah, now that doesn't save him from a flank charge here. Right, think carefully about this, what's actually happening. Wow! I don't think these loose warbands would struggle to beat up. Generaled up. Noble cavalry and melee. Better give them a general, make sure they don't lose. And they could have still lost. There's been a lot of weird luck in this game. So, this is something to think about when I talk about luck in Field of Glory. Luck is, as a wise man once said, the residue of design. My overall strategy is, both of our overall strategies I think are still panning out. But random elements create a little bit of chaos in the mix. And that's revenge for my poor light javelin in my other game. So although a lot of random events happen, the ultimate result is usually just the same. Okay, I think we've got the resources to go in for the kill here. There is a chance that they'll fragment before this happens. I'm still covering everything though. Yeah, I'd love to waste resources chasing those nomad light horse archers, but I don't have enough to spare to do that. Now they'll just get ground down, but it may take us a while to achieve that. And of course, things can still go wrong. The vindictive hand of the dice are still, of the random number gods, is their wrath could fall upon us at any time. Now what I have to do here is move to here and block in the warband here. And I'm tempted to charge because we want to try to get an upper hand on these warbands before they arrive, even though it's only even chances. It's only an even chance. Those odds will get worse as the fight goes on. Wait a second. Well, no, that would be missing the point. Give them the general so they have a chance to rally up. So as mentioned before, we're on the defense on this. Has he given me a flanking opportunity here? Look at this situation carefully. And the thing is, I'm pretty sure that whatever flank attack I could set up there, he could block. But then again, I'm losing on this flank anyway, so anything I could do to give myself an advantage on this flank, a real advantage, it's important that I take that opportunity. Because that could, if I win even one battle here, with everything that's going wrong for Grommulax over here, one advantage could win me the game. Let me look at this very carefully, because the idea is that I could somehow attack. He'd just move in here, wouldn't he? Sometimes you just have to take a risk, and there's no way out of that. But I don't think now is the time. Move the general over here. Turn these guys to face away. Now we've protected everything for the moment. have rethink about what you could do. You could move here and then engage. No. Just trying to consider what he could do to me. In hindsight, I should probably have given them the general, shouldn't I? Probably try to lure them into melee before they're ready by threatening the flanks. Okay, let's just start setting up at this point. There's obviously going to be a fight in this flank. Okay, it really depends on whether we can hold this flank for long enough, because we're not going to win here. Next turn. Oops, whoops. Should probably resolve this first. Okay. Yeah, we're winning handily here. Yeah, Grommulax has noticed it too. We've had weird results. That's pretty normal though. It's not the first time I've seen that happen. Uh-oh. Here come the warbands. My men need to hurry up and start winning these battles. Oh, that's gonna cause panic everywhere. Oh, that was very bad timing for us. Oh my god. And it couldn't have come at a worse time. And I think the pursuit's going to catch us. I could lose the battle right now. I mean, okay, so I lose. I'm determined not to let situations like this annoy me anymore. Yeah, because my troops will be... And here we go. Unless by some... Nope, here we go. And it's all going to collapse. It's all gone horribly wrong for us. And we can't even get there to intervene. Just like that, the whole match is turned on its heels. Well, I'm still winning here. Let's see. It's so frustrating being just out of range here. Okay, I'm not going to be able to stop this cavalry here. So the smartest thing I can do right now is start to ride around. Problem, because my troops are out of command range, I have to try and avoid the zone of control of that warband and get right around into his back, because I'm never going to be able to stop this cavalry in time. No, that's probably not a good idea. Let's think about where they're going to go. So this unit's probably going to route in this direction, and the cavalry will hopefully follow on, and that will draw them off. So when cavalry are pursuing like this, try and use your light troops as a distraction. So I've got them spare now. If I can buy enough time for this to develop, I can still win this. I was hoping one of these impacts would go through, but it does allow us to start killing the Volksmen and start grinding their numbers down. Hi there, Mr. Picked Warband. That is terrifying. He's likely to win that, so I want to delay here. Okay. Okay. Well, I can at least take his archers. Next turn. My opponent says the luck is getting a little silly at this point. Oh boy, what's going to happen now? Alright. Well, that's more or less as expected. What's that fight going over here? Sorry, I zoomed out so you can actually see what's going on there. Right. Okay. Nothing too extraordinary here. Right. No, nothing unreasonable here. No? Uh-oh. Well, at least that's keeping them busy. Alright, that was nothing life ending. Let's keep these guys in check, because they will allow me to get the upper hand here. And hopefully I can do something about these lancers. They're still holding out, huh? That's right, we're going to be there all day. Right, I have these units loose around the back of my enemy's line now. So let's see what we can do with that. The rough ground's giving me some problems here. What I could do is these units need to move up here, and these units should win anyway, although the way... Oh, they're holding out. Can these units turn? Okay. See if we can go for a quick kill on these Volksmen. Good, that's the fragmentation. Remember, they're superior units, so they'll fight on. No double drop. We didn't even win that melee. That was... Well, that stabilizes things over here. Yeah, the advantages have kind of switched around. I now feel under pressure here in the center where... Well, no, things have kind of done what they often do in Field of Glory and kind of evened out. Make a charge, we might get lucky. Okay, but at least that means I'm not going to take return fire to the face. Okay, it really depends whether I can break this unit before that unit can turn around and smash them in the back. Because I'm committed to this now. Let's see how this goes. So I decide to move here. Good, we should get the flank attack there, whatever happens. Another disruption. Okay. I definitely don't want to stay here in the midst of all of this fire, because we've already been disrupted. I think what I'll do is press on and try and get my units to pursue into this group here, seal this unit's fate, and turn quickly to deal with all of this. Nothing more to say beyond that. Next turn. Oops, haven't forgotten this. Okay, now it's next turn. Back to the pandemonium. Grommulax is getting good mileage out of his archers. Hello. Hurry up! Of course they don't break. There's only a 90% chance. Then again, he didn't hit me there when he had the chance. It's hard for me to evaluate my performance in this battle because when it goes so against expectation. Warbands will pursue, of course, but they seem to stop there. Just realised I've zoomed out, so it's hard to see. There was a battle here, and now turned rallies. And another rally up, another rally for us there. Isn't it? Right. And we break through. And that's it, I think. Oh, but look over. Right, okay. That's fine. Our superior warband can survive one bad hit to the back. So we are, of course, going to charge here. See if we can carry them off. Now we're at a disadvantage. But it should give our picked warbands the ammunition they need. Well, they're not going to drop again. Of course, if all of this can turn around, you can just sweep my line. We are, of course, going to turn and surround this Volks unit. And we finally dispose of the Lancers. Right. We want to take our light javelin horse and get over to break that warband's unit now that it's rallied, now that it's fragmented. Because if it goes to disrupt, it'll be much harder to go off. Of course, it'll be much harder to just break again. Of course, now we can't get to these units, but I might be able to take out this light archers when these units continue to run away. So these units may pursue and catch these in the back, and that will be excellent. Guys, move away and pick away at those light noble cavalry. I think I forgot about these guys completely. Because of course I'm now viewing things from my opponent's side of the battle. 29% chance, we hold on. Okay. I'm winning, but I'm not sure how much I can attribute to judgment and how much I can attribute to luck next turn. Speaking of rallying to disrupted, see how quick you have to be. I threw them away, I should have kept moving them away. That's a collapse in the centre. It'll take me a little while to exploit it though. It's getting grisly. See, we could still bounce off here, which means I can't charge them. Uh-oh. Right. Hurry up. Right. Well, that should take care of the worst case scenarios. Turn around and make sure that we're ready to receive whatever's coming here. I'm pretty sure they'll still get flanking somehow. Well, I can give them a thumping with my archers. Guys should very quietly move out of the way of trouble. Will that threaten the... well, no. Let's think about this. I'm going to try to hold here. Nope. Nope, that was a bad idea. Okay, we managed to successfully engage, which means we can get in here. And that cracked them, but of course we'll pursue. Or maybe not. So they'll get flanked next turn. Right, now of course, because I took that gamble, we don't have any general to do this with. But I can start to chase down this picked warband Or should I focus on this fight over here? Let's see. 3 units. Well, I do have 3 units, there's 2 here. But on the other hand, those armoured noble lances are very dangerous. I think I'd rather stick with my troops here. And we can defend ourselves. I see they're dying fast enough. You guys loop back around to help. You guys go off and do something more constructive. And holding some cavalry in place. But I don't think they'll get into the battle again. It's looking good. No. Maybe not good enough to win the tournament, but good enough to win the match. Next turn. Uh-oh. He's clawing this back. A little bit. So I have mostly melted his right flank. How did these guys end up facing this way? I am the Germans on this side, aren't I? Moment in the mirror match where you forget which side you're on. That's not good. We could panic. Did we start out zoomed out like that, or did I just... Right. Making sure my cavalry aren't in range of... Oh. And I'm not going to jam my troops into melee. The idea was to try and prevent them from pursuing. Falling back in front of Lancers seems like a really, really bad idea, but on the other hand... Oh, those are his troops. Let me rethink that move. Right. For heaven's sake, those are his troops. Keep them closed off. Trying to stumble after these units who have come back. Because my cavalry are pretty vulnerable to archer fire. Can maybe use my skirmishers to keep them busy. I can potentially threaten 2 of his units here. So the real question is, what can I do about this situation here? Right, because if they come through, I think we have to sidestep like this, because charging Lancers is suicidal. But if we do nothing here, then they break, we get engaged here, and then they come into flank us here. I have to move. I have to let the Lancers through. Or they could stand their ground anyway. Right. We need some tactical patience here. I am just going to stay away from the situation for the moment and stand off. because I know that this is all about to explode, and I do not want any of my troops to be there when the bomb goes off. Let's see now. Whatever happens, I want us to be ready to flank that unit. Going for the kill here. And that's an instant break, though with so few casualties in the unit, they do have a good chance of coming back. Superior closer on order warband, but it's still flexible enough to turn. I can rely on these two units hopefully to deal with the picked warband. Okay, maybe we should leave this to the superior close order warband, because we have enough resources over here to resolve the situation, I think. Do I want to turn you guys to start going in this direction? Probably I do. Because they're going to have to turn to face this way anyway, they may as well spend the movement square now. A little bit worried about this light cavalry, we could get disrupted. Do I really want to encourage that cavalry unit to chase us and move more quickly? Because the casualties are negligible now. I think I'd rather just... I don't know, shoot at something. May as well fire some javelins off, but the whole point of these guys is to protect the cavalry. At least he's low in ammo. And I think we will... I'm going to try and lumber towards its artillery. Next turn. Now, depending on how he did here, you might get a disruption, a fragmentation. Okay, here we go. Interesting pursuit path. Well, there is a chance that my troops could lose a frontal charge against his enemy noble cavalry, so it's worth doing. I'm sometimes a bit arrogant as an infantry commander. I often assume that the cavalry can't do anything to me from the front. Obviously I don't make that assumption with lancers, but even medium cavalry can be dangerous under some circumstances. That's gonna sting. Oh wow. Oh goodness, they trapped me perfectly. Well, we'll carry these guys off. Maybe I can end this before the full impact breaks through. Problem is, if that unit breaks now, if I try and charge in here to get the flank attack, he can block it anyway. Okay, I need to be patient. What if... See, that would allow me to get the attack in if I engage here and then turn, but I'd be taking a horrible gamble. Okay, I really don't do gambles. Not unless I absolutely have to. So we'll just turn and lock them in. and we'll move around with the assumption that we're going to engage this unit here. I can't turn here because I'm getting zone of control, but they can't do anything because this unit's here. Oh, see what he can do. He can charge and lock his troops in here. Not if I do this. Okay, don't go any further. Now he can't do it. So I'm safe to move around to here. Okay, as long as nothing too horrible happens now, we should take the artillery. Thanks a lot, lads. Really helping us here. Alright, let's pile in. Don't lose. That's a senseless risk. No, just in case something goes wrong here. Let's remain standing at this point and we can engage and flank. Beyond that, I don't think there's much else to do. Next turn. Yeah, the Lancers are causing me problems as expected. I said that his pursuing Lancers were geniuses for getting into this fight. Oh, that's not great timing. Well, it never is, and now this unit disrupts. Ooh, good manoeuvring. I don't think they'd be able to make it to there. What he could do... yeah, see this? Ouch! Really? Just from low archer fire. Just goes to show the skirmishers are still important even once they're out of ammo. Right, we've got something going on here. Sorry for zooming out. I'm trying to peel out and get a better view of the battlefield. Interesting choice of target. Oh, I've got the cavalry to worry about, don't I? They're slowly going down. Great. Don't think I can charge from there. That was smart. I think that's one of mine. Let's come back. Alright, finish off the artillery. Really? Really? Oh well, I'll get overwhelmed next turn. Let's make this quick. I said make this quick, not agonizingly slow. You're doing it wrong. Okay, let's see. This is getting quite dangerous, actually. You guys need to get back into the action. Because I have no idea where all of this is going to go. That at least moves me into a threatening position. I don't know what's going to happen when I release these soldiers into the wild. Let's find out. Okay, we actually passed that turn of combat. And another turn of combat, amazing. We might actually get the flank here. Right, let's see. Now this is why I was keeping these units stalking around the back lines. Being careful not to block in my troops there. That keeps them pinned down and that gives me some freedom of operation. So this is a loose order warband facing superior troops. That's definitely a fight we want to take. No joy, but... Okay, I'm pretty sure I can set up a flank attack here. It depends though, because if I engage now, because that will give me enough time to get this to work. Honestly, with this fight in my favour, we're not going to concentrate more forces here. We need to pull back and do something about this situation. You guys keep them locked up. Do not give them an early parole. I'm actually in some danger here. I'm just going to ride away into the sunset. Keeps them from rallying and gets my noble cavalry out of dodge. Anything else? Nope, that's it. Right. So the other tournament battle's over now, so I expect this will wrap up quickly next turn. You could have run a bit more further after them than that. The whole point was to get them out of trouble. Oh wait, that's their troops being disrupted. Right. Thankfully we held firm, so we'll get the flank attack this turn. With a bit of luck I'll be able to rout quite a bit of Grommulax's army this turn. Oh, but we'll need to now. I just realised how much of my army's been routed over the course of the battlefield. This isn't a particularly convincing victory, actually. We'll be lucky if we're not fragmented here. They're out of command, so they can't turn to fire. There was probably a way to get them in range. Okay, this time we held firm. They're driven off. That's helpful. That is extremely helpful at this particular moment. Right, let's see if we can finish this. So, the obvious target is the flank charge. I think they'll stand their ground this turn. We didn't win an impact. Come on! No dice. What about over here? Okay, that's the fragmentation. But we're unlikely to break these superior troops this turn. We did it! Well, loose order soldiers fight in close order ones. Don't think we'll be able to get the auto break this turn. But we could leave them dangerously close to it. After which I'll have to turn around and face this unit here. That's another one down. I think that's the end of the battle. Oh, bad choice. They'll probably just drop back. Lucky that didn't happen earlier in the battle. We'll charge in here to see if we can get one more rout. No, they're through. They ran a country mile away from us, and we could get flanked if we managed to rally up. That was unfortunate pursuit, but again I shouldn't have ordered it. It's just a shame these guys came back. Well, that's a convincing win if nothing on his side rallies up. But I think things will go far worse for us if he does. get a rally now. We do have one thing going for him. His army's pretty smashed up. So hopefully nothing else will come back. No point in charging here. We'll just give them an early parole and can circle back around if this continues. So they're left to stare at one another in disinterest. Okay. I think that's it. Hopefully that's the end of it, otherwise next turn. And that is all she wrote. I think. Well, actually I know because I got the game over message. That's game! Okay. There's been so much going on that I can't clearly remember how this all went down. An important part was managing to match my superior warbands against his ordinary warbands. I think that helped me out a lot because I had a qualitative advantage there. He did a good job at disrupting my infantry with his lights here, but I managed to get around his flanks with some of the cavalry. I think some of this light presence might actually have hurt him, because it meant he couldn't bring as many heavy units to the field, and I was able to flank around and get around those dangerous lancers and bring them down. There was a big stroke in the middle of the battlefield where he managed to break through all of my units. I forget exactly how that evolved, but I was ultimately able to get back on top of his cavalry, break through, get troops around from this area here round to the flanks. I still can't remember how this went in my favour. I think I managed to get a 2 against 1 advantage here, and that helped me out a lot. My troops also stood their ground, mostly in this sector of the battlefield, which, given the quality of the troops I was facing, was not a sure run thing. In fact, there were quite a few picked warbands advancing towards me. But I don't think he was able to concentrate enough power to win this decisively, and I think he had suffered from quite a bit of bad luck as well over here. So overall, I think I was just able to bring more force to the parts of the battle which needed it, and that's really what happened here. In the end, I won my battles. He couldn't win the areas he was winning fast enough, and I just brought an overwhelming amount of strength to bear, and that's what won me the battle. Okay, so thank you, Grommulax, for the game. I hope to play you again in the future. That was a very entertaining match, and I guess that's game for now. I will see you all later. Farewell. Oh, and wait a second, because I always forget, here's the end screen. I've been Napoleon Complex. Please consider leaving a like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and I will see you next time. I've already said farewell, so I'll say adios instead.